So we are talking about GitHub Actions and extensions that make a lot of things very easy in an Orchid core project or Orchid core based application project with GitHub Actions. Now, if you don't know GitHub Actions or aren't entirely clear on the terminology, GitHub Actions is GitHub's automation platform or CI/CD platform. Orchid core, of course, also uses it to run various builds. And how you define a build pipeline, or it's really not just about builds, but anything automated. How you define a pipeline there is by creating a so-called workflow or so-called actions. Workflows are what are actually run, and actions are something that you can add on your own as well. These are things that workflows can call. Kind of like a workflow is like a program, and an action is like a library that your program calls into. And of course, actions can be third-party as well. The point here is that, well, you can use GitHub Actions to automate a lot of things, chiefly something like .NET builds and running tests and doing various verification on a pull request. And you can also do all kinds of modularization between these builds. And what we have here, this Lombiq GitHub Actions project, is a lot of what GitHub Actions calls reusable workflows and composite actions for Orchid core applications. The workflows that you can call from your own workflows, pretty much almost like one-liners to run the .NET build and execute tests of an Orchid core application. And actions are the little building blocks that you can also use if you just want to have something specific. And we have quite a lot of workflows and actions here. Everything is also documented. What I would like to point out is this build and test Orchid core solution workflow. And pretty much this is how you use it. It's not even a minimal usage, actually. It can be even shorter. Pretty much this can be your GitHub Actions workflow in your own repository, in the repository with an Orchid core application, where you execute the workflow that we provide here. And this is actually used in Orchid core commerce as well. So if you check out the GitHub/workflows folder there, this is all the code that's necessary to run such builds. Oh, well, this is a failing one. Let's see one that is passing, yeah, from an older merged pull request. Let's check out the details. And yeah, as you can see, there are builds for Ubuntu and Windows as well. I wasn't picking on Gabor. Sebastian. And these are all the automated checks that we run there. This is a quite long build because it's not just a .NET build, which happens here, but it also runs all kinds of static code analysis. It also runs a command to verify that all the NuGet packages in all the .NET projects of the solution are consolidated, so the same packages use the same versions in all projects. And it also runs unit and UI tests with SQL Server and Azure Storage, actually. So you can set up something like this very quickly. In our open source Orchid core extensions Orchid solution, which contains, as you may have guessed, all of our Orchid core extensions, we have something like this as well. It's a bit more complicated. You can see we also have 2 jobs here in GitHub Actions terminology, because we actually built 2 solutions, not just one. And it's not just about Orchid core builds, actually. It's also about some other automation, like publishing to NuGet. So back to Orchid core commerce, we also have NuGet publishing. Well, NuGet publishing to NuGet.org, and also NuGet publishing to how is it called? Cloudsmith, the provider Cloudsmith for all the nightly builds. We have two such workflows. Again, just very little. Everything is provided by our GitHub Actions project. And if you want to check out how these are implemented, you are welcome to do. It's all open source. And actually, how the whole thing started was by Dean. Dean was the developer who initially created publish NuGet. Well, I think it was a workflow at the time, not an action. So it still bears some of his work here. Otherwise, here's the code. It does a lot of things, not just the NuGet publish command. And this is how we publish, well, Orchard Core Commerce. So if you like to quickly add some automated checks or automated NuGet publishing to your Orchard Core based project, check out this. Everything is easily usable here, documented, lots of examples. So hopefully it will be useful for somebody else as well.
Thank you. I left the blank this way for the editing when you share the video. Easier. The question, so what are the conventions? Because if there is no argument, there must be a lot of conventions, like what's the CS project name, what the folder it will build, how the test will run.
Yes. By default, these use or just do what the .NET command line already does, which in the case of NuGet publishing, for example, is that if there is a CS proj in the folder, then it will publish that. If there is a solution file, it will publish all the CS proj or all the C# projects referenced by the solution. And if there are multiple project files without a solution, it will throw an error. But otherwise, all the arguments or all the parameters are defined as inputs like this. The defaults should be good enough for almost everyone and almost every case, but everything that we thought about that's useful to be customized is customizable as well.
What is GitHub ref name?
This one. I think this is the Git reference, right?
Does it match the branch name?
Not necessarily. Oh yeah, this is the Git reference that triggered this workflow. So it might be a branch name if you configure the workflow to trigger based on a branch or push to a branch. What we usually do is not that actually, but what you can also see here in Orchard Core Commerce is that we are awaiting a tag push, a tag with the prefix v as in version. So yeah, that's where you can have.
What I decided. Thank you. That's what you used. I like it. We started it in. I'm not sure we started it in Orchard. Why did we start it? I should check.
But Orchard Core does something like that as well. A lot of projects use this convention.
Yeah. Good.
Yeah, thank you.